And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Christy Campbell, Native American Karuna Reiki master, psychic medium, and light language artist, who is also a member of the Secret Space program. Christy, thanks for joining me and welcome.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me on, inviting me on. And I look forward to sharing my information with you too. And we're kind of comparing our notes and everything too, what we've experienced in the with programs with the Native American, with all that stuff too. So just kind of getting to know you and everything that way. Maybe we can do another one too on some more of the topics of the hybridization program and things like that too, I was thinking of.
Well, you've written 7 books and you have a lot of information to share, so perhaps we can do multiple shows together. But for today, let's start with, how did you get involved with the SSP in the first place?
Well, the memory started coming back after I took the Karuna Reiki, because I started with Reiki 1 all the way. So it kind of just trains my mind to be able to open up to higher frequencies. So with the Karuna Reiki, that opened my mind up all the way. So I was able to see things that weren't in my mind before, such as the alien stuff. And then the light language, I started having interest in that and being able to just write light language. And I had no idea. And then with this alien abduction and stuff too. So I had no memory prior to that of alien abduction, even growing up, that wasn't even in my memory until after the Karuna Reiki in 2013. And then I started exploring the SSP and feeling like this is familiar, like what is going on with this, and hearing Kathy O'Brien, her story. So in her talk about George Bush, so all of that was like resonating. And then I started watching other super soldier channels. And so I started just getting memories back of a little bit at a time, like little puzzle pieces. And it doesn't all form a whole story. They're just like little snapshots of a memory, and they're out in space. So it doesn't fit into this reality. So that's kind of what I've heard other people talk about with the secret spaces, that they've seen these things, or I've compared notes, my memories, or I've seen some of the people that I've met in this reality in other places, and I can match their energy, and then they remember. So it's all kind of tied in together. We're all kind of tied in with everybody we're meeting and resonating with. And so it's just piecing these puzzle pieces together though. And some of them don't really make sense. So that's why I think people get a little bit scared too, is because these memories can be traumatic, So what I was wanting to share today was some of the ones that they're not so traumatic to me, because doing like a 20 and back several times, they put you through horrendous stuff, torture and stuff like that. So, but I will talk about the snapshots of things that I have had memories come back. Today I'll talk about some of those if you want me to.
Have you ever met another SSP person and then you start to remember working with them, like on Mars or some other planet, and they go, oh yeah, I remember working with you too?
Yes, if they're open to it as well. So some people, they don't have their memories open. So they don't, what I'm just saying to them, I'm just talking to the wall basically, because they just hear it, but then it doesn't mean nothing to them. They like, okay, that sounds all right, but I have no memory. So, but like Arkeem Raw, he's one that has full memory. So I can tell him, hey, Arkeem, I seen you, like doing this, so many experiences with Arkeem I've had. And then he remembers. So, and he can tell me, oh, I've seen you here. And then I can find it too. So we kind of have that connection. Like we've been at Montauk and we've been on Mars where I seen like he took me to Mars and dropped me off there. And so there's lots of memories. And he said, "Oh, you have the starfire aspect, or that's you, so I'll see that because I have like this fire, like it's a fire energy." So yeah, with him, he's really open. So I like compare notes with him. And there's others that are open, but he's really open, like where I could have a whole conversation. So, and yeah, I have a friend, Steve, too. He's really open. So there's just a few. So, and I try to help people, but yeah, they don't have that memory yet.
Did you ever doubt being an SSB? And if you did, what was it that confirmed it for you that it is real?
It wasn't kind of like a doubt. It was just like resonating, like I could see myself in when they were describing some of the experiences. And then I would remember being there or see myself there. And I'm thinking, am I just seeing through their eyes, their experience, or was I there? So then I would take time to see if I really was there, that I have my own experience, and then I would find my aspect. It would be like an aspect of myself there on Mars, in these different locations, doing it's different aspects of me on different it's like different timelines too. So it's not all just one aspect there. There's several. Because I think that I've had I've had some that as an ant person too on Mars, and then also a couple of different ones in the military as espionage. If you want to say espionage, like spy agent espionage. So they just started coming back. Like that resonated with me, and I would tune into that aspect and kind of look around. Um, and from there, like I could tune into them and see kind of what are you doing? What is your job? And kind of it just would open up. They would kind of just show me some of the things that they see in their area, in their working environment. So there's not a lot of freedom in some of them, because they're still at that base, and they're still under control, because it's like a mission. Yeah, a lot of them are.
Well, what planet would you like to start with first that you worked on?
So I was gonna talk to you about this one. There's one that kind of just stands out a lot that I thought of last night sharing first. It's like a rock, and it's in space is how that my memory is of it. And it's like a docking station, and it's hollowed out rock. Maybe it's like probably a ship that looks like a rock.
Could it be an asteroid like
Could be.
Ceres?
It's like just only one thing. It's like a science station only. It's like a bio whatever, it's like science. Like they bring us samples of things. That's kind of all that this station does. And it's like we wear those suits that they're for testing stuff. And it's like I see like the grate, how the metal floor, and it's like down below, so it's like an open rock, and you can look down and you can see the bottom, but we live there and we don't leave there. So this is like a term, like maybe like a 10 years or something like that. And all we do is like testing things. We're brought in things to test out, and then we wear these suits, and then we do that. So it might be probably various stuff to test out. And it's since I guess it's out in the middle of space, then it's okay, probably, I guess, if the thing blows up, So but it's like the same people. It kind of reminded me of the X-Files. You know how the X-Files, how they work on, it's like uh one of those where they're out in the middle of like Puerto Rico or something, and they're out in the middle. It's like just this whole lab, So, and it's something like that, but it's in space, because I seen people come in through the bottom, and I did see like the Draco kind of run this, and they kind of keep an illusion that you're by yourself, out there, out in the middle of nowhere. But I believe there's other stations all around there too. But I did see like there was a ship they load up all the stuff and it comes up the floor, and then we have to take it off and use that and then send it back down when we're finished. So it's just that's all we do on that station.
When you say the Draco, does that mean reptilians?
Mm-hmm. Like the big ones, the ones who are the controllers of a lot of the programs of the SSP. They don't actually come to there. It's people who work for them, but you just know in your mind that they run it, or I do, like that area right there.
And they were in charge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like a lizard looking man, with the big muscular body like that. That's how they all look.
And you worked there for about 10 years?
Yeah, it seemed that way. It seemed like they would, then they could also say, well, we need you more time and then do another one. So they just it kind of is a loop of time. You don't ever know what day, nothing like that. It's like a loop in time. So they just keep you on a loop. And I think they probably just keep you for a long time. It's probably longer than 10 years. They just, um, it just seems like you never know how long it is.
Yeah, especially if you're not on a planet rotating
Mm-mm.
around a sun
No,
and
there's
rotating
nothing.
itself to determine days and and years. It's probably
Yeah,
hard to understand time.
yeah, because we live there, and there's just very few of us too. There's like 6 people in that whole thing, and then that we would have food brought in and everything. So it's like a station. Um, so it is kind of, I think they give us an illusion so we don't feel like we can leave, so we don't try to escape. Um, but I think that it seemed like there was more places because I was drawing some of that, some of those other places. Um, this didn't make much sense. Oh, here it is. Like how this is, I kind of was drawing how it would look like one of these is one of the pod things that I would, or the rock, like a rock pod looking place. And they erase all of that, so you don't see anything but space. But I felt like there were more because they go around to all these different ones and collect the stuff and then bring it back, so it's like different things to test. Um, this I don't. It's various stuff too, because I feel like we always have to wear a suit though. Those hazmat suits, something like that, because it's um testing some chemical or things that uh it's not. I can't find it what it is exactly because they change it up, so it's not just one thing to test. So yeah, that happens. And the I was kind of drawing the ship of how it kind of looks like a rock, an open, like this is the thing where they would bring in the ship underneath here and then it comes up, through the thing, and then so this is the whole cutout rock, and there's an opening right here where they show like they give us an illusion like there's a little space area where you could leave, like a ship, like a little scout ship. So that's kind of like psychological, so it's kind of all psychological. Like you can't leave, but here's two ships if you have to leave an emergency, but they probably are just there, so that's kind of something too. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I found that one, and then yeah, I wrote asteroid cutout, for the super soldier. And so that's all for that one.
Well, where did you work next?
Okay, so the one thing I was telling you with Arkeem, I had the memory that sometimes they'll be soldiers that bring as other super soldiers to like Mars is what I was seeing. It looks like you're like in a like an entryway. That's how I remember. And I was brought in like I was kind of passed out and I was a super soldier and he is too. And then there's another one and then they have me there. And now I'm gonna start working on Mars. But the whole thing is it's like a psychological experience because they put me like with a family. Like I have a family, a husband, and then I have children. And then after some time, they come and take the whole family, the children and my husband and me. They said time's up, and then they just take everybody separate. And so that they do that. That's one thing they do. Like, time is up. You've served your 20, so you work all this time and you live there, and it's like a apartment. You have your whole apartment. Like, you have a husband. I had a husband, and I see myself pregnant with and then children, and then they just would come in and take us all separate. So that's something traumatic that happens too. I think that's more psychological though at the end, and then they just feed off of that energy at the end, and because it's not so, because you have all this attachment and stuff, but it's like everyday life working the whole time, and then all of a sudden they just come in and take it. Time is up. I can hear Akeem saying time is up, and then he takes everybody. They all come in and take everybody, and so we're all screaming and crying, and then have to go through like like erasing our memory and then putting us all back to wherever we came from going to there. So that's one. Let's see how the little snapshots of things, but they have meaning because it's not a whole bunch of time that goes by doing all a whole. It's like same mundane lifetime, with that experience, but something with that saying time is up. And then with the base on Mars, I've had it was like under a dome. This base it looks like the kind of the cream color base, like the in Hawaii, how they have the 1950s base, how that looks with the palm trees. So it kind of looks like that. And then it has a dome over the top. So it makes it look like it's a nice sunny day out. And this base is military, and there's all kind of this 50s vibe with the Jeep and everything. The whole thing is like that. And then even their uniforms is like that tan color, with the hats and stuff like that. They all wear that. But I remember myself as being like I didn't really fit in with that. So I just was like there. I don't remember ever having this whole experience with them. I'm just there to collect information from certain people. So I'm sent to certain ones, like in a room for espionage. Things go on to try to get them to open up and release information, or give me information, and my mind is recording that information, and then I'm giving them something back too, and then I take it back with me. So where do I go after that? It's like I've seen this. It's kind of strange because you go underground. I went underground, and there was like an octopus headed man, and his arms take the person, and then it just plugs into you and collects all the information that you just got, and then gives you new information, and then sends you back out to go do more. So I've seen that in the other Mars experience too, doing the espionage. So, and I felt like this octopus person is like an AI kind of thing, so it's collecting information on certain military people. So it's just this private room too that I go to, and it's men and women in the military that's a target for me to go and collect and give the information to.
Were there any ETs working on Mars?
I didn't see any ETs. I just seen the men there, mostly a lot of the men. There was some women, but they're more like in the office area. And but in that one, I don't like I don't fit in with them. Like, for me, I almost look like an ET because I'm really tall, like butch, like 6 foot, and kind of like kind of bigger lady, and um kind of like a wrestler lady or something like that. So I don't know what that is, what the difference, but she just enters into that and then does that, and then she's gone, so she's not really interacting with any of the staff or anything like that there.
Do
Hmm.
you have any snapshots or any idea of how this all works? Like, are they taking your consciousness out of your body and transferring it to other bodies, or are you time traveling?
How that works is like, they've cloned, they have clones of us, of our body, but they've taken pieces of our consciousness, and I think that the consciousnesses would be like way up here, and then each is like a fractal can be put into each of these clones of us, like just a fractal piece of it, and so that can have a memory, so that snapshot comes back to the, like, after it does its job, then it's returned back to the wherever, to wherever it came from, because
Maybe
it's
like
different
the
places.
maybe like the higher self or something?
Well, the clones, the I would say clones because they're different versions and bodies, and then because there's also I say aspects or clones, so sometimes that's hard to determine because an aspect really, it is an aspect of you, because it's a fractal of you, so you can gather information from those fractals if you can tap into that frequency and or have those memories, like you get the recall. Maybe they returned back to the, I always say like a mainframe or something. Like if it was a computer, like this consciousness, like they've cloned, like it's like they copied your consciousness onto a computer, and now they can plug in a clone or several clones into this consciousness, and so it has all these memories of things, so that's how, and they do that through the taking you when you were younger, into the SSP. They do all the DNA, all the stuff like that when you're young, and they start doing it. Then they take the copies of you, or fractals of your DNA, samples of your DNA, of your fingernails, of your skin tissue, of everything. When you're young and growing up, they'll continue with these abductions and continue getting new samples up, so it's pretty uh complex, I would think, with all the abductions going on plus all these other things, but you just have to kind of just, like, I don't go and search for every single thing. I just, when it comes to my mind or when I'm drawn to these subjects, certain things, and then that'll be kind of maybe the time that consciousness is returning back. Maybe it did its job and now it's turning back to, like, if it was like just a empty vessel, and then they just uploaded the information back to the main frame. That's how I think.
Are you still living out a normal life here at the same time that all this other stuff is going on? Like
Mhm.
another fractal of you is here?
Um, I mean, this is, I think that this part holds like an anchor into this reality. So it's maybe so these other aspects can, um I feel like it's kind of helping them ground out and return back in a way. So it kind of feels like that. The fractal, um, I don't know how this would be if it's just a fractal of my consciousness in this reality, possibly, because we experience things differently here, but then that aspect also would as well experience things differently. They would see it as a regular life and have the whole kids and everything too, so um I don't know how we would ever even find that out. How would we really know if it was like if we're just fractals, of that? I'm sure that is, like we're just fractals of our oversoul or higher self, consciousness. Um, How do you feel with that?
I
With
think it's possible. I mean, that
yeah,
kind of makes sense to me.
yeah,
Did you
because they
work?
say fractals. They say we're fractals, and this is like a hologram or an
Mhm.
illusion. So there's different things. So I think they kind of keep some programs going, so we don't exactly figure out what exactly is going on here.
What other ETs have you seen out there besides the Draco?
Oh, I've worked with on other bases. I've worked as like in the hybridization program too. I've been I've ran one of the ships. It's like a biosphere ship. As it was like it was all the hybridization children on this ship, and I was like the person in charge of there, and I was like a Lyran. It's like a mixed DNA though. It was like Lyran hybrid. Um, and the kids were all different mixtures. There was all hybrid children, so they were mixtures of all these genetic programs and stuff. So there's so many of the kids that they don't have like a home. They can't come to Earth because they're too advanced, too alien, for Earth. So they stay on these ships and raised on these ships. So I remember doing that on several ships, and even holding the babies on different ones, and feeding them and nurturing them and everything too. So they have us do that as well. So that's one thing. And then um I've seen uh I've seen like with the grays, I've seen them with the that's more of a darker negative with the hybridization taking us and stuff, taking the women, um and it's more genetic, taking our genetics and making hybrids. Um, but that's more like the German program that happens too, with that. So it's like a negative grays in that one. And it's like the surrogate, kind of a surrogate program where we would be implanted with embryos, these girls, and then have babies, and then the babies are sent to different German families to be raised as soldiers, or in the program and stuff too. So um, the higher mantids, those are more my star family, and the Lyrans, the Octurians. So they're more in my conscious memories, as where I could talk to them and interact with them at any time, then I can see them, especially like the Lyran. I have my star family is all from all over though, we have many star seed aspects like Andromedan, Syrian, you could name them all. We have an aspect of us in all these places, to experience that reality. So I think that's why we're here too, as well, is to bring that to life, um, the experience of being a star seed with all this DNA. So that's why the Grays do have an interest in us, is because we have this spiritual DNA from the higher angelic or higher realms and everything too. So they use that spiritual DNA for their programs, for their psionic abilities, for their telepathic and all these abilities, because they don't have that spiritual DNA.
And did working in the SSP give you the ability to be a psychic medium?
It's natural already in our DNA with these star seeds. And so they have like a radar or records or something of who's coming in, and so that's why they're targeted at that young age, and then they're taken, their DNA is taken, and then so they're creating all these aspects or clones of us, and they're all going to have that DNA too, with being psychic, intuitive, doing all these things, able to and then they press it though. They push it to the limit by traumatizing. They'll traumatize us. And then that makes it more opened, so that's what happens.
As a psychic medium, what do you see for the Earth over the next 6 months to the year involving ETs and UFOs? And anything else of that nature?
I do feel like they're more seen now, like the ships and everything. And so I feel like more people are ready for something, a change, and something else. And they say all this fear stuff, but I don't really feel like the people are that fearful. There are still some that would be, but I don't I think it's more individual, the experience. So they're gonna each person that is wanting a ET, I guess ET, I'll say ET, but it'd be probably be like a Pleiadian or something like that that would come in. And I would say it's not gonna be everybody though, and it might just be like in your dream state too. So it's gonna be an individual's own experience according to what they can handle so um they don't get scared and withdraw, so they're opening up all this time. And then the Pleiadian, um so what I've seen before with contact is like they would land if they was gonna be landing in their like a plasma ship, it would be like in the woods. I've seen like this in a vision, and then they come out, and then this is just people that are just sitting out in the woods, like they're sky watching. And so the Pleiadian would come out and have a conversation. But I think they kind of put on some kind of it's like they kind of make the person not afraid at first, so they don't feel fearful, and then maybe that kind of relaxes after they get to talking to them, so something like that, like the one-on-one contact. So if that's what you're wanting to experience, then you might put that request out there to your star family. I think it would be your star family that would come, and I don't think it's going to be anything scary physically, because that would make us all kind of fearful, I think, too, if we saw giant mantid coming out of a ship. I don't think people would really um, resonate so much with that as much as they would like. I just don't feel like it's going to be a landing and then they get out either, because that's kind of strange, Nothing, planes don't usually just land like that and people get up. I mean, unless it was like at an airport and then they got out, so maybe I just don't feel like that'd be that, because that's it. I don't know. It might be someone who looks like an like that Val Thor, or they look human, and then they talk, and then maybe they project their consciousness or like their energy onto the crowd, so they feel so I'm not sure how that there's different scenarios with that, with how they could do it. I try to look and see what's the best way too. So I almost feel like I'm part of that whole experience too, with the disclosure of bringing the ETs into this reality. Because I'm like, wait, no, we probably shouldn't, because I'm kind of protective of the ETs more. Like, no, there's still people that might not like seeing a praying mantis. So maybe just a Pleiadian or something that looks human, that might be the best thing. So with the earth, I think it's kind of changing and shifting to the higher, to a more I think people are ready for something more like that though.
Have you seen anything else up and coming for the planet, whether it's weather or political or wars or anything else?
That feels like the with the um it feels more manipulated, to for the old system or something like that, with the political stuff. Um um with that, it seems like it's a other timeline, because like the timelines look like bands, and so it's like different timelines running out, like running all at the same time. So it's like different one people are tuned into different of these frequencies. They're all different frequencies, so it's kind of based off of what each person wants to experience as well. So I don't think it's going to be all the same as well, so there's some that's higher timeline, and then maybe they see, um, maybe their experience is something else. I haven't seen like a whole shift in, and people say a new earth, but I don't know what exactly that looks like. I just know it's maybe a higher frequency and more light coming in and more awareness, and we're able to see more into different dimensions, more sightings of Sasquatch, and maybe seeing the beings come into our energy more. So I think that would be more something that I could see happening, um because people say a new earth, but I don't I don't know what exactly. I think the new earth is just a new higher frequency, because it's all frequency, but I'm not, that's just from that person's perspective too, when they're saying a new earth. Maybe it's a new reality for them, or whatever that means. So um every person has their own perspective, and what they're experiencing and seeing in their reality. So, um, what I would think is, uh, trying to do things to help yourself to, raise your vibration or energy up, doing more, maybe exercising, and if you meditate, and or whatever it would be for you, that will help you let go of a lot of the trauma. So releasing trauma, that's a big thing to do. That will help raise your frequency to a higher, you know and then you're not always in this darkness, how the how that is. We can travel there. I know you've seen that too, where you're traveling back and forth, but I think you go in from a higher frequency and then you can come out of it, but you're probably going there to assist someone in that realm, in the darker, or however you might be like an angel, and you hear a call or something to go and help someone, pull them out of it or something like that too. So we all have different missions too.
Well,
Yeah.
is there anything coming that we should get prepared for?
Nothing comes to mind when you say prepared. Um, mm, I think it's mostly releasing this trauma that that we the programs have, breaking open yourself and releasing all of this trauma that some people don't want to either. So it's kind of complex, really, because everybody's on their own thing too. So um yeah, I keep working on releasing this trauma, and um trying to keep a higher frequency and doing the things that I enjoy, and so that's kind of what I'm focused on.
Do you think there are ETs walking on the planet among us?
There's that, they have where they could project their consciousness into a body, so that's the immersion program, where they can be someplace else, and they can take on a whole body, where they could create a 3D body and project their consciousness, or even get into that body and experience what that life is, just for the whole lifetime, or so it could be a human body with the ET consciousness, for sure. I don't think we ever even would know.
Would the
Yeah.
person even know that they're an ET?
Maybe not. I don't think so. I think they might have different thoughts, as far as they might stand out, or they might even be more of a black sheep, how they had the black sheep of the family, how they say that, so they might be thinking differently. So um they might have an ET consciousness up here, and then that's just projecting, or even in that body, and having this experience as, even an Octurian, because the Octurian can't probably hold a whole form here, because they're too higher frequency. So they have a body, and then they just put a fractal of themselves in this body and have an experience. So That's how I kind of feel with that.
And do you
I
think that
think there's more and more of them too, you know?
do you
Hmm.
think that they can abduct people just by pulling their consciousness out of their bodies and bringing them on a ship and then putting them back into their bodies?
Yeah, they can, it's like an overlay, you know, while you're sleeping, then they can kind of just, it's like a hologram almost like that of your body, where they just kind of lift it up in a way, your astral body, and they have a copy of it too. So they don't really necessarily have to even abduct. They just can lift like your astral body or tag the astral body, because I think we have implant tags and stuff too on us, to where they would track us and everything. So working on maybe, um, I don't know how you would even find out if you exactly had one, a implant or not. But if you feel like the grays, or it's mostly probably the grays that would abduct, and then take, what are they using you for though? So that's kind of their own agenda as well. They could be using you, your consciousness, and putting it over here and doing all kinds of different things. All this, they could have all kinds of experiences too. I mean, it's not positive, you know. If they're doing that, it's not going to be for the positive, because they're going to be um, having you do like the super soldier kind of thing too, and like um, definitely that part of it, the super soldier, and then working maybe in a lab, as this is a super soldier program too, and you know, like, or their own program though. It's like the Grace program. So that I see that a lot too, with them having humans as a scientist or so, or they are using that, their DNA. Maybe they have, maybe they're a star seed of the Greys as well, you know, so it's all different things. Yeah. There's many programs running. So um yeah, it's kind of the, like, if the person already is tuned into the Greys, so the Greys, they probably um have that person leave their body a lot and then come on the ship and interact with them, you know? And maybe they're gone most of the time during the sleep time, and then they just come back before waking up.
Do you
Hmm.
think it's possible that either one of us are ETs having a human life and we don't even realize it?
I think so. I think we would have different different DNA though, you know, like the um but the it's not just one, like some of them are, some people are just a gray ET, and then that but they're different. You would be able to tell kind of their character, their behavior and stuff is a little bit different than, say, an Arcturian would be more of a higher frequency, more loving, musical, and kind of more um here to kind of raise the frequency and energy and everything too. So I do feel that, because um, I think that's how the frequency is going to be raised as well, is through activating these people who have that say the Arcturian DNA, through doing the light codes and through healing your trauma and stuff. Then that kind of activates that as well. So yeah, some people like the grays. So, like, I know my son is a Zeta gray, and he has autism, you know. So I think that that's a kind of a DNA, um, something with the human and the grays, some kind of a, because they're more higher advanced, you know, and they don't really fit into this reality so much, because they're more on a different frequency. So having to be here is kind of, they don't really communicate with their voice. It's more telepathic, so they're kind of misunderstood, and so you know, they kind of have an anger or rage, like they're misunderstood in a way too. So I think that's for a reason as well, to help us wake up, to help us shake out some of our trauma as well, or rewire our thinking. Like, he helped me to rewire my whole thinking process of catering to him instead of to myself and being selfish. Then I just learned to to almost like it's like he's on the front burner and I put myself on the back burner. And he's 20 years old now, so yeah, he's severe autistic. So it's been um just that alone, he's like an ET for sure, because he doesn't communicate verbally. He does a little, but not very much.
As a light language artist, what kind of art do you create?
With this, I'm usually drawing some of the praying mantis, more of my star family. Um, I'll show you here some of the pictures that I have. But some of it I have also is like with that hybridization program too, like like being on the ship and drawing those the ETs there with holding the babies.
It almost looks like they're growing ETs in some kind of cubicle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like it's like an incubator there, and then they have all these uh, human uh, humans come to the ship and hold the babies and interact with them. So a lot of people have this experience of seeing and holding babies, men and women. Um, so this book here is all the darker stuff, experiences and everything. But I have my books on Amazon, that I have all my light language and some of my drawings. Like I'll draw some of my experiences and stuff. Um, this is one of the programs too. If you wanted me to mention, like the dolphin program of being dropped off into the ocean. And a lot of people remember this program as well. Be it like we're in some kind of a helicopter plane, like a craft, and then we're dropped off into the ocean. And we have this smart suit on to where we're able to call dolphins in, and we're able to communicate with the dolphins, and the dolphins will take us underground, I mean under the water, and then we're all the way at the very bottom of the ocean in a stargate. They take us to like a portal, and we have this the DNA or activation code or however to open up that portal. And then we end up in another complete different reality on the other side. And it's like we're gathering relics, is what I could see, like gathering relics or some kind of, it's like coming out and being in Egypt and then having to go in the pyramid and gather like a coin or something and then bringing it back, or taking something and putting it back into somewhere where it originated. So I think it has to do with like the grid, the earth grid. So something with that. So this seems like it's a small group of people too. It's not like a dark super soldier part. This seems more like it's for like a positive for the earth. So it might be like more of a maybe the Marvel kind of looking character, kind of something like that in a way. So something with that, because I think we're correcting what was taken out to make the ley line or something be over here, but then we put it back and it goes over here. So we're connecting the earth grid back together. So that's how I kind of see those, and returning things that were taken, because I've seen coming out of the water, and then there's like a whole tribe of um it looked like Lemurian people or something like that. Like they were inside of a cave, and then me and John Whitberg, we were returning their crystal to them that was stolen, and then that activated their whole land again. So that was something too. So it's something for the positive with that. So there's different, I guess it's different realities. So um all of this in one thing. It seems like it's so much, but it's been over the years. It's been 10 plus years that I've been putting all this together. So yeah.
What's the title of your newest book?
I have the frequency codes, and I have 7 books on Amazon. So they're all the light language codes, and they're my artwork with the light codes. And so you can kind of see how, let me show you some of the artwork and stuff that I've drawn before, so you'll have an idea.
Sure.
They're on Amazon right now. I didn't have the author's copy. So, so you can kind of see how, like, this would be with the ET. So I put all my artwork like this in the books. And then some people will say, well, what does this mean? And it's a frequency. So the being would be giving, like, when I'll draw this being and then this comes out. So that's their message. And some people will see stuff or hear stuff or feel it, but we all kind of experience it differently. And some people won't even resonate with it, you know? So I do card readings like this to help people too. So that's why I have these here.
If we go back to that picture, the first one, is that is that a mantis, and that's a light language code?
Yes, that's like an insectoid mantis, probably like that. And then some people might see him as maybe just like a hybrid or so. And then that is their message. But this is the light language that I'm given when I'm doing that. So I think through taking the Karuna Reiki, that allowed me to be able to be open to receiving the light codes more. And I just write in different ones too, so you can kind of see how this is more of a different frequency, like that's completely different. And so people experience or hear or feel, you know, different things, or they start to feel heat, you know, when they see. So it's like different ones. So they all these different beings, and I don't do them all at once. I just do them when I'm feeling like the download of it, you know? So I think these might be kind of some ants and their message. And some of them are like have you heard of the galactic emissaries where they would go to different places and, you know, they have meetings with different ET species that maybe aren't getting along, and so we would be coming in there to help them work out a peace agreement, so something like that. So that's going on as well. So I feel like a lot of this stuff is my memories of that, because I always draw like two beings, you know, and they're having like they're talking, and then they have an agreement in the middle, you know, so something like that too.
Now these pictures are in your books?
They will be. So I'm making more books and stuff too. So I have so much artwork, and I already have seven books. And see, that's more like this more like the grays. So all my artwork like this with the light language, and there's 72 pages in each book, full of the artwork there. And I don't put any kind of translation, because I mean it means different things. It's like if you have like say a string or so of the language, and then it's coded with something, and then if you open it up, then it's more code, so it's layered. And then some people will feel stuff, so it's different for everybody with the light language. And some people do speak it, you know, and I've spoken it with my cats and stuff, you know. And it's just like um it's more like your soul language, you know. Some people will say, oh, that sounds Native American, you know. So that might be something that I spoke a long time ago as well. So yeah. Did you see that I was a presenter at the Full Disclosure Now conference? Did you know that I was a presenter there?
That's great.
Mhm.
That just happened in July, right?
Yes. I was on two panels, one for the SSP experiences and one for the Montauk experiences. So I got to share just a snapshot of, because there were so many of us on the stage. So we just had to share just a little bit of an experience.
Are they going to have that conference again next year? And if so,
Mhm.
are you going to go again?
Definitely so. Yeah, to be every year. So it's going to start growing bigger and bigger as time goes. So this was the second one he's had. And he, Brian Singh, he also purchased a place in Sedona that he's opening up as a center. And it's going to be another place too that he'll have conferences or, things like that going on there. It's more like a retreat center place. So that's open now too in Sedona.
I wonder if he's going to have a conference in Sedona as well.
I think so. I think he's going to have something in November. He said around Thanksgiving. It's going to be like Friendsgiving. He said, and it's going to be having like a there'll be some presentation too. I think with food, with bringing in healthier food or something with that too. So something with that. Yeah. And you could have him on and talk to him about that too as well, with the new center, because it's a lot of land too that he purchased. So it's a really nice place. Um, it was it showed like Elvis Presley used to stay there, and it was like Drunvalo Melchizedek's, like he had talks and stuff there, and so a lot of people have been there before for, I think it was like a retreat or something.
I wish one of these conventions would happen in the center of the country, like Dallas,
Yeah.
Austin, because
You
they're
know
usually on
that,
the East Coast or the West Coast.
yeah, Rion and Tone, they're having a thing in Dallas called The Bridge. And that's in October. Um, and it's like a higher consciousness with the crystal skulls and higher, I think it's more to help. It's nothing, I don't think anything SSP, um not the lower density. It's more higher, the crystal skulls and people talking to assist, bringing in the higher frequencies and stuff. So that's in Dallas. So that's one. But yeah, I agree. There should be more in the middle. Maybe Dallas would be a good place.
Do you have a website
Mhm.
if people want to find out more about you?
I have my YouTube channel that I've been putting all my videos on, just my experiences and making the musical videos, but I also do the card readings like I was showing you with those cards to help people for, that's all on there. It's Christy Campbell CC33. And that's my initials, the CC, and then 33 is just the numerology, number 3. So that's on my YouTube channel, and because there was already a Christy Campbell, that's why I put that there. But I put the CC33 on my artwork so people know there. And then if you want to contact me too, my email is christy.campbell.11@gmail.com. You can contact me if you want to get I do the readings. I can do like the intuitive readings or help you find maybe the super soldier, if you have like a memory, maybe helping you tune in and see more aspects of yourself. So I can do that as well. So if you just contact me, then I can kind of see what you're needing or however to, and I can do Reiki. If you need Reiki on your animals, distant Reiki, with that. Um, so really, I'd just like to do those with the animals, because they're so open. Horses and stuff, I've done that in the past. So yeah, so I do um, all kinds of things, really.
As a medium, can you ever tell if somebody was in the SSP?
We have a signature. I can see like a copy of you. I can see a copy of you over here that is in a like the super soldier uniform. So then I know that that's like a energy signature. It's in your energy field, that you have that in your energy field. So I can see it in you. Um, I don't see so much as like, no, I don't see a weapon or anything with you. I just see you like in that gear, and maybe you are like more of like, I don't know if it's a spy. Um, Seems like you're a pilot though. Seems like you do a lot of the piloting, like you fly. we fly crafts and stuff quite a bit.
Are you talking about me personally or in general?
Yeah, you, seeing your energy and everything too, like seeing your super soldier aspect, but I'm seeing you do things that where you're flying in different, like where you would jump out of the plane and then land on your feet. So you would have those kinds of missions that you've had, that you've been on, that you've experienced, and
It's interesting that you say
where you
that.
can run really fast too. In your experiences, you run really fast and you can be invisible, like that, because you run so fast. You're like the Flash, like that. And then I can see you just like sitting on top of the buildings and stuff and listening too. So you kind of work, like if it was a superhero, then it would be something like the Flash, where he goes in and saves people like this, and then he's gone. So you kind of run really fast. I see that.
There's a video game out there where it's like a flight simulator game, but you're flying spaceships like into space docks and all kinds of stuff. Looked really cool. Looked amazing.
Yeah.
And wanting to play it, but I'm just so busy I don't have time. So maybe that's why I have an interest.
Yeah, like it's going really fast, like it has to go really fast. I feel like you like that rush of energy too, the adrenaline rush of free falling, kind of like that. Like you would turn around if you were skydiving or something, I think I don't think you would be afraid of that. You're not afraid of heights or nothing in this reality, are you? Have you ever skydived
No, I
before?
don't know. I don't know. I probably would be afraid of skydiving though.
Yeah, you do that though, like skydiving, you just fall and then you just land on your feet because you already know you'll land on your feet, because we have like these special suits, and they're like smart suits, so we can run really fast or land on our feet, or be invisible, so yeah, I do see you like being on a base as well. Like if it was like, like on the Star Trek, how they have the hallways, the silver. So I can kind of see you walking down a hallway like that in a it looks like a not a super soldier suit, but it's like their uniform looking thing like Star Trek. And then you would work on a ship in the front, as like a um I wouldn't say like just because there's numerous people flying it, the craft, because it's a big craft, and you would just have your own little station here, as part of the whole crew. So I can see you doing that and living on the ship.
Well, I do like Star Trek.
Yeah, I think there's a reason, yeah, because I can see you have that aspect there. It's like an aspect of you, experiencing that. So it's like just another timeline to where, and maybe those things that we like here in this reality are giving us clues of other things, because it's like they show us these things for a reason, these movies and stuff like that. It's like to help us wake up almost, like with some of this action movies or flying movies or whatever it is, and you're resonating with it, even the video games and stuff. So I think there's a reason why we like these things. So
What
definitely see you doing that.
is there anything that you're working on that you want people to know about?
I've been doing my books, just putting all my artwork from the past 10 years, from the time I started waking up to all of this, and I just started doing the light language and drawing and stuff. So I have a whole bunch of artwork in my closet that I have time now to put it all in books, to get it out there, and one day I want to have it more professionally, like scan each of the pieces, each of the artwork pieces, and then have like a file that people can maybe purchase the image, so it'd be more professionally done. I just need like a scanner, something like that, so it looks exact, as so those are things that I'm working on with that. So and then um So just small steps. I'm doing my readings and stuff too. And then wanting to do more events, like going to places, but they all cost money to go to. And then they're over here in Sedona, over here in Florida, so it all takes money to get there. So I just have to focus on myself and doing this work here. And, then that will start to come to later.
Before we finish up, can you leave us with a last positive message?
The positive message. I would feel like, with everyone, they always ask about, what should they be doing, or however, to try to be able to hear or see or feel, the ET stuff or the higher realm. Some people are still closed off, so it's a lot of trauma that we still carry. So working on yourself, and whatever that would be, if it's, um everybody's going to be different too, taking some kind of course or something that you it kind of needs something to push you, out of the comfort zone, and then you start to kind of see things differently, or and like a new perspective on things, or meet new friends who take you to some place, that you really like if it was a retreat or something like that. So there's always, it's always something that kind of wakes us up.
Christy, thank you for your message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it and enjoyed your company too. I hope you have me on again.
I hope so too. Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.